Okay. I would like to invite our second presenter, Dr. Agusdin. He's currently our Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, and he obtained his first degree in economy in management science, University of Mataram, and then M.BA in finance and human resources management, Central Queensland University, Australia, and D.BA in entrepreneurship from Southern Cross University, New South Wales, also in Australia. The theme of our conference is the emerging roles of education and social sciences in post-academic, in post-pandemic. So, as Dr. Agusdin is currently a bureaucrat in our campus as Vice Rector, I think he can give us two perspectives, either as in economic perspective and also in education, as he is our Vice Rector in academic affairs. Without further ado, now I would like to invite Dr. Agusdin to deliver his speech. Dr. Agusdin, time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all keynote speakers, invited speakers, and participants of this conference, I would like to say welcome to this conference. And my presence in this conference is not as a Vice Rector, actually. I'm a lecturer at Department of Management, Faculty of Business, Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Mataram. So my presentation today is about my background in entrepreneurship, and based on my understanding and small research that I've done, and let me share the screen of my presentations. The title of my presentations is Defining and Adapting Business Strategy During and Post-Pandemic Era. I will start my presentation from what we have faced during at the beginning of pandemic until now, and what was changed because of pandemic, like what we eat and how we eat, how we work, how we shop, how we exercise, how we manage our health, how we socialize, and how we spend our free time. That all that has been changed from the beginning of the pandemic. Now, from the business perspective, to be survive, businesses must rely on the business model that tailored to this condition while keeping everyone as safe as possible. That condition that we faced from the beginning of the pandemic till now. And the fundamental impact of COVID-19 from the perspective of economic behavior and health, you can see from this, what we call a chart. You can see here health measures. Health measures will impact will influence the economic disruptions. And economic disruption will also influence behavior of the people. This is vice versa. You can see here, like hard pressure will influence employees and consumers only participate in the economy when they feel safe. And economic disruption, we try to mitigate the impact of crisis, both at the micro and macro level. In the micro level, there will pressure on family budget. Family budget, that means people think how they interact with each other and also with businesses. This is vice versa. It's the system. That's fundamental impact of COVID-19 pandemic. So what should businesses do in the short term? I'll divide it here into 3 categories: internal management, overcoming social impact and physical distancing policy, and safety concerns, health and safety concern. We can see here what should businesses do in internal management. They have to maintain business operation to be survived. The first one that must be do is reorganization of structure and human resources, maintain the health and safety of employees and customers, and reframe businesses scenario. The second one is overcoming social impact. You can see here, I didn't need to read one by one, but the example is like private showing for limited audiences. This is for entertainment. Okay, for small compartments in dining restaurant. That's for overcoming social impact. How about safety concern? You can see robots for delivery and services, safety label and certificate for consumer goods. That's for example, short term. Now in long term, we need to define our condition right now as impact of COVID. How COVID pandemic will impact my businesses, and how will my customers, market, categories, and business overall be impacted in the mid to long term. That's a fundamental question that needs to be answered for long-term perspective. This is the framework that I try to pick from one source that I mark here in the red area is what sector that most impacted by pandemic, and what the green area here is positive revenue growth because of pandemic. That means that pandemic has bring positive, negative, serious, and disaster impact. The example of positive impact is e-commerce, online shopping, online something, everything. Tourism is one sector that most impacted by the pandemic and other recessions. And what should this sector do at the beginning in 6 months, 8 months, and 36-month period after the pandemic? You can see here the last, it depends on the sector, it depends on the businesses. You can see here, abandoned market. What does it mean, abandoned market? This is the last choice of businesses if they cannot survive. But in the middle term, they can do pivot through organic innovation and inorganic growth or diverse. This is, we call it innovation business, innovation in businesses. And in the short-term period, we should do what we call it, mothball large part of the businesses and prepare for restart. Turnaround strategy, we call it in business. At the short term. And in the middle term, we have to do innovation. And in the long term, this is the bad choice that is to abandon market. And this is for sector or businesses that most impacted by pandemic. The green area also need to do their strategy, to define their strategy and adapting their strategy in 6 months, 8 months, and to 6 months. The most important example I would present today is one case study, tourism industry in NTB province after the earthquake 2018 and COVID-19 pandemic 2020. You can see from the figure here, earthquake has impacted minus 25% of tourism visit to NTB. But pandemic is almost 90%. You can see here, minus 89% impacted. In terms of number of tourism visit, tourist visit. You can compare here. See, 2018 earthquake and 2020 is pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. Data were collected using 3 main approaches: observation, in-depth semi-structured interviews, and documentation during the period of July-September 2019, post-earthquake, and the period of July-December 2020 during COVID-19 pandemic. Location for sub-district here, Batu Layar, Pujut, Sikur, Mataram. And informal is SME in tourism, owner and manager, data analysis, content analysis, analytic comparison. And the result is a model here. We call the model is dynamic networking survival strategy of local small tourism business provider in Lombok in dealing with business uncertainty in tourism. We define 3 big categories here: emerging teams, category, and networking. In tourism providers, it is emerging teams, tourism agency, related industries, destination communities, and tourists. We create a category networking setting. This is a strategy for surviving. And they make a collaboration and cooperation as aim of networking. And what they do, what their strategy is direct pursuit, using social media and applying online agent as part of networking strategy. That's 3 categories here. We call it dynamic networking strategy. What is each of these? I can see here from what is network setting. Is the environment where and with whom the informants build a tourism business cooperation network. It's network setting. Here, tourism providers, tourism agency, related industries, destination communities, and tourists itself. This is during earthquake and pandemic. And what type of networking and cooperation and what differences between cooperation and collaboration? Cooperation is to build their competence of the businesses, and collaboration is to generate income. Therefore, they got 2 here. One is competence in dealing with the pandemic and dealing with uncertainty. The second one is income. And the strategy that they have done is direct pursuit using social media, applying on an online agent. I can explain here what does it mean by networking strategy. Okay, direct pursuing, use social media and online agent partner. These strategies we call as, and the time is collaboration. The cooperation was built by tourism entrepreneurs who are in the same business area or destination to share information, increasing knowledge and skill, that what I call it competence. And the second one is the ability to survive to face uncertainty in the business environment. In this collaborative network, the local level entrepreneurs share information that reflects business condition, encourage and motivate each other. Therefore, we can conclude here that the strategy, cooperation, and collaborative networks among and between businesses in tourism sector here has become a strategic way out of the business during recession. Recession means here, because of the case in NTB, is because of earthquake and pandemic, or COVID-19 pandemic. I think that all my presentations hopefully will benefit for all of us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Agusdin, for the very nice talk. Before we start our question and answer session, let us give big applause to our two keynote